Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I'm coming at you with another wargaming and miniature video. In this video, we're going to be talking about my Ancients project, right? I'm building armies for both SPQR and Hail Caesar, and I'm building them simultaneously. Now, there's a technique or a method that I'm using to make it so that I can base my models on 1-inch bases, but also use them in a mass combat formation on movement stands. And I'm going to show you those here in just a second. I think I hinted at those on my last project update. Okay, I've come to some new building materials I want to take a look at and tell you about, and talk about some model building that I've been doing. Also army building that I've been doing, and army and model building that I'll be doing in the future. And basically this is a combination of my project update, but also kind of a channel update. If you follow my channel, you've probably seen a few of these, so you know exactly what to expect. Alright, so for those of you that haven't followed my channel, you're not sure what to expect. I got something in my eye, so it's been bugging me. So if I look like I've got red eyes and smoking pot or something like that, that's not the case. I just have something irritating my eyes. Okay. I don't know what it is. Okay, so I've got some models here you probably can't see on the screen, and I'll just pull them up and kind of show them to you. But the first thing I want to show you is, let me put some glasses on. The first thing I want to show you is this DAP Silicone Caulk, right? Okay, I don't know if you've seen this. I need to bring the screen up so I can see, to make sure I'm looking at it and you're seeing it. Okay, I've got this. Okay, I don't know if the light is causing you not to be able to see it. There it is. Alex Fast Dry. Am I out of focus? No, it's autofocused. Okay. So this Alex Fast Dry, right? It talks about paint in 20 minutes. Spray paint immediately. Well, I'm going to tell you, don't do that. Do not spray paint immediately. I put some of this as a basing material. And what I like about it is, before I had used the dry decks in a tub, and then I would use a scooper, and I would, using a toothpick, I would go through each of my models, basically like all of these models, and I would fill in all the texture around, and then later I would go in and either paint it. I would paint the model at that point, and then I would go in and texture it and put the flock on and stuff like that. So I said, you know what, I'm going to try something a little bit more flexible. I wanted something that was not as chalky as that, because that does crack from time to time. Like, I don't have the water mixture properly or something, and it starts to crack. And I said, you know what, I'm going to see if they have anything that's like a silicone caulk. This is a latex silicone project caulk. And it says crack resistant, won't shine through paint, multi-surface, easy water cleanup, low odor, 50 years. Okay, so I figured, you know, this should last me a while. So I picked it up. The added benefit of this was, I didn't realize it at the time, but when I cut the tip, I deliberately cut it small. So there's a very small hole on my tip. I deliberately cut it super small. And then I could take this tube and I could go in and apply it where I needed to apply it with no fuss. And it was applied. And then if I wanted to flatten it out or adjust it in any way, I could use the tip to do that, or I could wet my finger and do that. It was great. And then I went out and spray painted it, right? I did this on like 8 models. I spray painted them. this is Julius Caesar, by the way. This is a resin model. It's super lightweight. I mean, this thing has no weight to it, right? Less than zero point 0.1 ounces. It's super light. That caulk, I was hoping that it would add a little extra weight to it, but it doesn't. It adds like no weight to it, which I thought was okay too. It's okay. So I sprayed it. And then 30 minutes later, because it says you can paint it in 20 minutes, but you can spray paint it immediately. So I figured, okay, cool. The paint's dried in like 15 minutes. I'm going to go into like 30 minutes later, and I'm going to see what it's all about. Well, it was still flexible. It was still, okay, it's going to stay flexible a little bit, but it was still like squishy, right? And I was like, oh, that's horrible. It didn't dry. So what I did was I went with my toothpick and I poked a bunch of holes to give it some air through the paint into the caulk. And now that it's dried, it's pretty hard. It's like a really hard rubber, like tire rubber or something, which that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to be a little bit flexible, but also kind of rigid in a way. So I wanted the best of both worlds, and I got it. And, and it's my son's name. But I guess it's called Alex because it's an acrylic latex. Yeah. And now it's great. So I went through all the other models, poked holes, around so that the caulk would dry, and they all dried, and it's beautiful. So I'm going to be using that on future projects. And I just do it in this. I had this paracord Ziploc. I just throw it in there, just in case there's any kind of leakage or spill or anything like that. Plus, it'll help keep it. From drying up if it ever does. Okay. Now you can't really see these models. I'm going to lift them up, but primarily I'm mounting my bases or my figures on 1-inch bases, right? 1-inch bases. That's for SPQR, or the 1-inch, 2-inch pill bases for the cavalry, right? Okay, so far so good. I personally use metal fender washers. Mainly it gives the model a little extra weight. So like if you wanted to tip that model over, it doesn't want to tip over. It'll stay good to go. Up, it'll stay upright. So I've been racking my brain, like, how am I going to make all of my SPQR models still usable for Hail Caesar? Because I didn't want to have two basing methods. I didn't want to have a bunch of guys based for Hail Caesar and then base a few guys for SPQR. I didn't want to do that. So I figured, I could put them on a magnet, right? So if you look at my Macedonian phalanx, I've got 2 3x3 bases. So that'll give me 3 ranks deep, 6 ranks wide. But it's 6 inches wide. And then I put them on 2 bases so that if I wanted to go into march column, I could just put one behind the other, and then they would be in march column. And because these bases, they're on Litco wood bases, but I mounted some magnets on the top so my figures won't fall off these bases, and I can just move them around the table just like that. And if I ever wanted to play SPQR with these, I could just take these guys off the bases. They just come right off, right? They just boop, come right off. Or they stay right on, however you want to do it. Plus, if I'm moving these around, going to a convention or something like that, being on these bases will help preserve the models, right? I think so. So all my phalanxes are going to be 3x3 bases, okay, giving me a total of 9 per base, or 18 models per phalanx. And that's going to apply to my Greek phalanxes as well. My Romans, because they fight in a different style or a different formation style, they're still, the frontage is the same. The frontage is 6 inches, 2 3-inch bases, but I'm only putting them 2 ranks deep, right? So you're looking at, my Romans are only 12 figures, and then you can put them in column just like that, right? Got them in column, got them in battle line. Frontage is the same. I'm only using 12 figures. So a box of 24 models gets me 2 units of Romans. Okay, so there's my Romans. Okay, now my barbarians that come as a war band or in a horde, they're a lot more models. This one's a little bit more tricky. This is a little trickier. They still have the same frontage, the 6 model frontage, because all your units should have fairly close. They should be fairly close to their same frontage, but in this case, they're exactly the same, 6 inches across. But I wanted them to have a little bit more depth and be more of a mob, so I did 4 inches deep. You could argue that your phalanxes should also be 4 ranks deep, but I felt that was unnecessary for my phalanxes. So the mobs are 24 figures, right? Because you got 12 and 12. So these are you need twice as many of these figures for a unit than what you do a Roman unit. Yeah. So playing a barbarian unit, you tend to have larger figure units, but less units. If I remember right, my divisions only have like 3 units in them, where in my Romans they have 5 units in them, right? So you're looking at the divisions are almost twice as big, but the units themselves are half the size. And then if you play early Republic, like with Hastati, Principes, and stuff like that, they're actually small units. So I think I'm going to use two 2x2s for the small units. I don't remember. I've got it written down somewhere, but 2 2x2s for a total of 8 figures for a Roman or any small unit. Now I use the 2x2s for my cav as well. So my cavalry, because they're 1-inch bases and there's 2 per stand, you're looking at a 2x2. This is kind of the original size of Hail Caesar. If I remember right, they were on 50 millimeter bases already. So this is exactly the same, maybe just a slightly larger. But when you go to battle line, you're going to have, because I do 8 figures in a unit, I probably could do 12 to make the frontage the same, but we'll figure it out. I was planning on doing 8 figures, 4 in the front, 4 in the back, making a cavalry unit. I'm not sure. Okay, we'll have to figure that out. But I think that's the way I'm going to go. And then skirmishers or smaller units, you can do it in various other ways. Okay, so the different combinations of bases that I have, I bought from Litco 2x2 wood, 2x2 magnet, 1x3 because of frontages. And if I ever needed to add an extra rank, I could just throw an extra magnet in there. Or if I just needed 3 guys on a single base, I could do that. And then for most of my Romans and small units, the 2x3s, actually I could put 3 horses on that Now that I'm thinking about it, I could put 3 horses on that and get the same frontage if I did 6. Maybe. Who knows? Okay. And then I bought some Litco 3x3s. Now, because these are bigger magnets that I bought and bigger wood, I actually went with the thicker wood. This is the 3mm stuff. Some of these are the 0.8 millimeters. But yeah, this is the 3mm stuff. And then I put the magnet. And the magnet is just a peel and stick magnet. That's all it is. Now, this is the piece de resistance, right? Okay, this I needed a 3x4. Well, they don't make a 3x4 magnet or board. They don't make wood that size. They don't make magnets that size. They make a 1x4, but they don't make a 3x4. So what I did was I ordered their full sheet magnet, which is 11 by 8.5. 8.5 by 11, yeah, like normal printer paper, right? And there's a whole sheet. And then I took some of my 2x3s that I use for my Romans, except I'm using the 3mm thick ones. I'm using the extra thick ones. And I put 2 of them down here. I don't know if you can see that of the lighting. There you go. Where there's 2 pieces of wood there. I put some Elmer's glue in there, stuck them together, stuck them on the magnet, and this is pretty sturdy. This is the magnet, and the Elmer's glue makes it so the magnet doesn't want to move around. Now, this has got, you notice it's got a little bit of a shine to it. I think I'm going to spray it with like an OD green or something just to dull it out and to make it match the table a little bit better. That's what I'm going to do with all these magnets. So these are the war bands. This is the phalanx. This is the Romans, or smaller type units, cavalry, or also small units. I don't know. And then these would be fillers in case I needed some extra 1x3s for any reason, you know. So these are, I got a bunch of extras. And then what I did was I just used an X-Acto knife on the big sheet and cut it into 2x3, 3x4 pieces. And I could get five bases out of a 9-inch, 9 by 8.5 by 11. I could get 5 with a little extra, a 2-inch strip of magnets left over. And that's how I made. And I ordered like 3 sheets, and that's how I got like 15 of these bases, which I think in the long run, I'm going to need 9, so 18 of them. So I'm going to have to use some of these smaller ones with these 1-inch extenders, for the last 2 units or something like that. All right, now that's the magnet project, and I've pretty much completed the magnet project, which is pretty good, except for the spray painting to get rid of the gloss, and to help it match the flock, like a flock, and you can kind of see the black underneath. I actually don't mind that. That tells me that that's actually like a movement tray. I don't mind seeing the base underneath. I don't have any problem with that. It doesn't need to be. I considered flocking it and stuff like that, but there's no way that or getting the bases that have the holes in them, and you put your figures down in there and then have that base flocked. But then that winds up making your models even wider spread out than this, so I didn't want to do that. Okay, so let's talk about the armies, right? My Macedonians, I might have to glance over at my shelf, so bear with me. I have 5 or 6 Macedonian units finished, right? Pike units finished with 18 models, right? With a few command elements missing. Right? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, actually, this is number 6. 6.5, because there's half a unit over there. So I got 6.5, but I only have one of them with the leadership, and that's this one. So I've got those other 5.5 with no leadership. You don't need it. You don't need to have leadership. I could take that half unit and distribute it amongst the other units just to make the models fill out. You don't actually have, you don't, in Hail Caesar, you don't actually have to have a horn, a standard, and a leader. I just like having it. Okay. I didn't finish all those because all of the decals weren't in yet. We'll be talking about that here in just a minute. My Germans, I have 2 warbands of Germans and the naked fanatics. The Gauls, I have a unit of mediums or lights, and then I have one unit not completely full with the chainmail. Okay, let's go back to the Macedonians. I have the companion cavalry, I have an elephant, and then I have these 2 units which are brand new. I just finished them. The perioikoi? No, I don't think that's what this is. But it might be the perioikoi. But it's like their light unit. Okay, and you notice how I've got them on the same as the Romans. Okay, and these are all resin. They came from the SPQR boxes. And then I have the Kittai, the ones with the chainmail. And same thing. Beautiful. These models came out great. I'm very happy with them. And I also have some light cavalry. I just showed you a couple of the stands. I got 4 stands there. I've got some light cavalry for my Greeks, but I can easily use them with my Macedonians. Same thing with the Greeks. I have one warband of, well, 1 phalanx, 1.5, almost 2 phalanxes of Greeks, mercenaries, and they can be used with my Macedonians. So my Macedonians are actually getting along pretty good. And then my Romans, looking over there, I've got 1, 2, 3.5 painted. And then I've got 1, 2 in the back just primed. You know, they look just like that. So figure-wise, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. So I easily could field 1 division of Romans right now. And I'm basing the division size on my Age of Caesar campaign book. Same thing with the warbands of Germans and Gallics. They had 3 divisions of 3. So I'm basing it on that. Okay, so I talked about my Germans. I talked about my Gaul. The Gauls have those archers that came in the starter set. I have those. And then I have... Okay, that's it. That's all I got. Okay, so what I have received in the mail today is this box from Victrix. Now I'm gonna change the camera around. I'm gonna point it down here at my table. We're gonna open up this box and we're gonna take a look at what the figures are. I'm excited about this. All right, guys, so we got the box right here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open it up, and then what I'm gonna do is put it on the floor and then pull the models up one at a time and kind of show you on the screen here. But this box is a good 8 inches tall, so it's actually interfering with me accessing the table. So that's why I need to put it on the floor. So, and I ordered this on the 6th of April. Okay, the 6th of April. It took them a while because they got inundated with orders, you know, during the lockdown and all that. So this order didn't actually go out until the 30th of April. You know, it says right here, 3420, right? So, and it's coming from the UK. So it took almost 30 days, we'll say 27 days, for me to get it. Okay, I also have an order from Warlord Games. I have 2 orders from Warlord Games and a second order from Victrix that should be coming in. And that's going to keep me busy for a couple of months, probably. I put in a couple of pretty big orders through Victrix, a couple of smaller orders through Warlord. As they come in, I'll let you know. Hey, I got a "Dear Derek, thank you for your order. We're delighted to have you as a customer." That's pretty cool. Other products you might like: Germanic Warriors. I did order those. Celtic Chariot, I plan to order. These two, not so much. But I might like, actually, the Vikings and the late Anglo-Saxons, I might get as well. Just to, whoa, there's 60 in each of those. Wow. Okay, we'll take a look at that. Okay, so we're not going to go through whatever this is. Okay, we're not going to go through all this on the desk. I'm going to put this on the floor and pull these up, okay? And then we'll just kind of take a look at what I get. First things first. Now, I was expecting all of these to come into boxes, right? But over the last couple of weeks, doing a little bit more research and stuff, I realized that Victrix is transitioning to a Ziploc bag style packaging, so to save money. And I get that. I'm okay with that because I don't care about the boxes, truly. I just throw them away anyway. Okay, so I got my 12 Greek archers. Okay, these guys can be mercenaries for my Greeks, my Spartans, which I haven't started, my Thebians, my Athenians, my Spartans, or even my Macedonians, or hell, maybe my Romans as well. Okay, so Greek archers. Hey, what is this? Ooh, been waiting for this. Of course, I've been waiting for all this, but Macedonian Hypaspists. These are the Royal Guard, or the elite troops of the Macedonians. It looks like it comes with a standard and a bugler. That's good. Don't have to buy a command element. Okay, so we're looking at plumes here, but on some of these helmets they have those winged feathers on the side. Oh, and then this one's got the tall wing. You can't really see it in the glare, but that guy right there. Bunch of oh, these are multiple sprues. Okay, hold on. There's probably only one command sprue. Just looking in here, all the other sprues look the same. Yep, these guys are going to be great. Okay, because some of them are going to look like the hoplites, and then some of them are going to look like that. I think the majority of the ones I'm going to do are going to look like that, and not that. I'll keep those heads and those helmets for other purposes, but maybe leaders. But my Hypaspists should look like that, I do believe. Okay, so we got Greek archers, we got Hypaspists. Digging deep here. Okay, bent cardboard, big deal, right? Balearic Slingers. There's 12 of those. Okay. So they have slings, they have swords. I'm not going to use the swords. I'm going to put them all with slings. Great for SPQR or Hail Caesar. So my Balearic Slingers can be really any slingers, really. They can be Greek slingers. Because the Balearic Islands are right off of the coast of Spain, right? And they were used as mercenaries for Carthage, Rome, Syracuse. Hannibal used them in his Italian campaign. Roman used them in the time of Trajan in his Dacian wars. Yeah, Spanish-style tunics. Yeah, like the full, call that a T-tunic, I think is what we used to call it, the SCA. Okay, I got a bag of something. I'm going to hold off on this because I'm feeling this giant box. Okay, this is how they used to do it before they went to the bags. But you'll notice that all of those had low numbers of figures. You're looking at the biggest one was the Hypaspis, which had 24. This one has 48. So this is like 2 bags, right? 48 models of Thebians. Phalanxes. I do my phalanxes in 18, so I could get almost 3 full phalanxes out of 1 box. That's pretty cool. With a few, missing pieces. These look like, the Thebians look like Thessalian type style helmets. Okay. This box is heavy, by the way, as well. Examples of Theban hoplite shield designs. Okay. Now, Persian, Xerxes, city of Boeotia. Okay, so I'm planning on doing a box review of this. I will open this up and look at all the figures. I'm going to do a box review on all of these, actually. But this is pretty cool. It's heavy as heck. Okay, I'm going to set this off down to the side over here. Now here's the other box. The Athenians. Also 48. Also in a bag. Capes. Bugler. I don't know if that's a shield apron. Probably is. I don't know if there's a standard bearer in there or not. But this is like that box, but different. Wait, there's a second bugler. Okay, there's a bugler there and a bugler there. So maybe I can make multiple command elements. That'll be cool. Yeah. I'm excited about this Athenian one. Okay, got the Athenians. Last box. Gotta dig deep now. Greek Peltas Javelin Men and Slingers. I got this one. It's got 56 models in it, but there's a variety. So I've got Peltists, which are basically javelin men. I don't know why it would say Peltis and javelins. and slingers. Peltas kind of are a unit that would fight in a tighter formation than just your javelin men. Peltas were kind of like your light infantry. The Greek light infantry, you can make peltas, who were the main Greek mercenary, lightly armed but stand in close combat, or javelin men, which are used as skirmishers coming from the mountains. Okay, that's pretty cool. You get 48 peltists and 8 slingers. You know, different shield types, different heads. And okay, that's going to be cool. This is also a heavy box. But then again, it's got 56 models in it. Okay, I wonder what I get in that thing right here. I bet you it's decals, because I'm expecting them. Okay, let's cut it open. I didn't want to cut. Okay, there we go. Look at all my decals. Excited. There's my high pass bit decals. Greek hoplites. Shield aprons, 2 sets right there. More Greek hoplites. More Greek hoplites. I basically got a ton of these because of my Athenians, my Thebians, and my mercenaries. And then I also got some peltists. More Greek hoplites, and these, every one of these is different. Ooh, these are like better than I expected. More hoplites. And then I thought I'd get a bronze hoplite just to see what it looks like. So there's a ton of hoplites. So now I can finish up my hoplite mercenaries. I can start working on my high pass bits, my Athenians, my peltists. I can start working on all that. Yikes, I got a lot of work to do. All right, well, thanks for coming out and checking out this video, my unboxing and my progress on my Hail Caesar and my SPQR. When I get closer to having my divisions finished and we're getting ready to play some games, we'll get some videos in where I actually do like an army, like a focus on my armies and show the different units off. And then we'll also have some games once the lockdown is closed up. Right now, it's hard to get all that together, okay? So right now, this is giving me an opportunity to paint like mad and get everything ready. There is a convention in Nashville called NashCon, and they have not canceled yet. They're still planning on hosting it. So there might be an opportunity to play some SPQR down there. So we'll have to see. Now, on a secondary thought, I just wanted to let you know, during this time, I've been painting models, not for me. I've been painting models for other people and charging for it, selling it. And that it's not really a business, I suppose, because I barely do very many. I only do like, well, I don't know, I'm not going to say, but I do only a few units every week, and it's gotten to the point where it might sustain me. It might pay the bills. And if that's the case, then I will have, if I transition completely to doing that and not splitting my time between my work and my painting, if I just paint full time, then shoot, I'll have like hundreds of models finished, but I might not have any of my own finished. That's the problem. So I'll let you know how that progress goes in the next few weeks. If you are interested in commissioning for any kind of painting of models, sci-fi, fantasy, World War II, ancients, Napoleonics, Civil War, whatever. If you're interested in commissioning, let me know. Drop me an email. Put a message in my inbox or whatever, and I will get back with you, and we will figure out a cost. Thank you for coming out and watching this video, and I will catch you in the next one.